Hey, it's Mark Penninga. I'm with my colleague Levi Minderhout, our BC manager, and the hearing has concluded here at the BC Court in Vancouver. Levi, tell us, how did today go?
So today was the final arguments by both the government and then also from the JCCF and the churches making their final touches about their submissions towards the justice. There was a lot of talk today about a particular variance that the government gave to the Jewish community, allowing them to hold limited services, even indoors, something that our churches have not been granted and that haven't been granted to anyone else. So just trying to bring to the government's attention that you need to treat groups equally, whether they be Christian, Jewish groups, and even with other groups in society and other activities in society, whether going to a bar to watch a hockey game or something else like that, that these need to be treated equally, and this has to be something the government and that the Justice Kingston here needs to consider very carefully.
So this was day 4 of the trial. Now that it's wrapped up, do you have any feelings of just how did the whole week go?
Yeah, so I would say, like, going through these 4 days of hearings, sitting in on all of them, I'm struck by how fair and transparent our judicial system is. So both sides got essentially an equal amount of time to give their arguments. The judge asked questions of both sides equally and fairly, and just was trying to really wrestle with the issues at stake here. Another big thing that I'm taking away here is just how important and how crucial our case, or the case of churches, is. We believe that we have to worship God as He is directed, and that's really important to us. So I think the churches have a really good case in that regard, but the government is trying not to focus on that substantial part of the case. It's trying to urge the justice to make the decision based on procedure and whether this is going forward in the right way. So they're referencing a variance that the government granted to these 3 churches and saying, no, you can't actually judge on the main health orders anymore. You have to judge on these variances. And so try to rule on that technicality. And then other things like telling the judges, like, you don't have the authority to do X, Y, or Z. So that's one thing that's being focused on quite a bit in these cases over the last 4 days.
Great. Well, Levi, on behalf of the ARPA Canada team, I think we want to leave our viewers with some encouragement. We want to encourage you to pray for the judge. In this case, he said as the hearing wound up that he understands that these churches are anxious, that they're waiting for a decision, and he's going to take that to heart. So we can be thankful for that, and let's also pray for this judge. We know in the book of Proverbs it says that the king's heart is like a water course that God can channel however he directs it. Let's pray that God works in this judge's heart. And also, we want to pass on our appreciation to a number of people who put a lot of work into this case. We think of the churches that we spoke with a couple of the pastors from the churches earlier this week. Just the amount of stress that they've taken upon themselves by doing this. We think of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. There are 2 lawyers that were in the courtroom all week, Marty Moore and Paul Jaffe, did a great job. Again, a really big job for them to be working on this for many weeks now. And we also are very grateful for the lawyer that worked with ARPA Canada this week, that sat in the courtroom all week for us. And we are so grateful for his assistance on this case and other cases that we've done. Any concluding thoughts that you wanted to share?
Well, just one other group of people to be thankful for is other people who are taking this to heart and are coming to the government with challenges like this. So many Canadian Reformed churches are also bringing their own application for judicial review, and the Archdiocese of Vancouver, the Catholic diocese, is also challenging these orders because we all realize how fundamental freedom to worship is. So signing off from the BC Law Courts. That's it for the 4 days of hearing. We'll keep you updated as soon as we know when the justice will release his decision, and continue to pray that it will be favorable for Christian freedom.
Have a good weekend.